damn sure don't want to be a socialist nation. This ain't Denmark, this ain't Finland, this ain't Sweden, this is the United States of America. You roll over to these borders with the vision and the fantasy and the passion that, yo, here, I can achieve anything. I ain't trying to be like everybody else. I'm trying to be one-on-one. That's what this is about in America. We don't talk about that enough when it comes to the socialists. Because they're convincing folks that rather than individuals being a problem, rather than lobbyists being a problem, they're trying to convince you America's a problem while their asses are over here profiting from the American system. And the Democrats with their spineless, weak, feckled selves are allowing it to happen. Disrespect. But do we really think that Zohran Mamdani was the most qualified candidate to be mayor of New York City? Come on now, we know better. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zohran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, I'm not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance.
Israel is not a place, it is not a country, it's an idea.
Bill Maher and Stephen A. Smith went all in on Zohran Mamdani, calling him a complete flop and arguing that his policies would take the country in a dangerous direction. They also argued that if the socialist wing of the Democratic Party doesn't return to what they consider common sense, the economy could end up in serious trouble. And the craziest part is that Bill Maher confirmed he won't be supporting the left anymore. Trust me, you don't want to miss a single part of this. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get right into it.
I mean, you get some Democrats,
Democrats are cowardly.
Yeah.
They're cowardly. Their party is being taken over now by, every day I hear about a new, very radical. I feel very good about, like 10 whenever years ago, like I did lose fans because, I wasn't going to go along with some of this crazy stuff on the left, too. I didn't change really on what I thought about the right, but I can't sit and just not notice stuff, which people seem to want to do because it's all about my team or your team. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff, when we're cheering for the Intifada, I'm out.
Well, I don't know if you saw Jay Clayton. You told J.D. Vance you're open, your vote is up for grabs.
Yes, my vote is in play because it can't be Trump running. Mm-hmm. So I'm not living in communist America. I mean, I know the talking point is that, well, it's not communism, it's socialism. Okay, I've read the quotes from the DSA platform, from their own mouths. Don't tell me I'm not seeing what I am seeing. And DSA, again, they say things like, takeover of key industries, government. That's communism. There is a definition.
By the way, Trump's doing that too.
Of course. Yes.
And to a degree that we haven't seen any other president, Democrat or Republican, do.
Great. That's crazy too.
He's got a piece of intel.
Right.
A piece of the AI companies.
He treats everything like it's a real estate deal.
And this is the reason so many people criticize Bill Maher, because he speaks what he believes is the truth. In his view, no matter what you say, many on the left don't want to hear anything that goes against the narrative coming from their own side. And according to Maher, the left wasn't always like this. He argues that things only started to change after the rise of modern social justice politics.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very, very clear. If the Democratic Party becomes the likes of Zohran Mamdani, who, by the way, I like, I'm not trying to throw any shade on him or anything like that, but if the Democratic Party becomes him, you have no chance. You have no chance on a national basis in terms of the presidency. In Senate seats in the House, you have no chance. You have no chance. I want to be very, very clear about that. You might have a Democratic socialist sprinkled here and there, but that ain't what America is. America's about capitalism. America's about dollars and cents. America's about an economy, a flourishing economy. Okay? And you know what it's not about? Free stuff. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it. Somebody got to say it, so I'm going to say it.
And this party has gone so far to the wrong side of the aisle that it's become completely disconnected from reality. They've forgotten what will actually benefit people in the long run. And that's exactly what's happening with Zohran Mamdani. People seem to think catchy speeches are more important than actually leading the country.
So you think Mamdani's a great one, huh?
I do. I mean, did you see his Knicks speech? I mean, anyone
not
who's
the issue that most concerned me. I don't
it's
need...
worth a watch because the speech was not just about the Knicks. First of all, he recites every Knicks player. I mean, I couldn't do that about the 49ers.
Who gives a shit about the Knicks? He's the mayor of New York.
Well, yeah, but he talks about how it's actually bringing people together. Trump voters, Mamdani voters, how it's overcoming the odds. And he took a speech that was just about celebrating a championship, and he made something bigger about it. He's a talented
Okay. Well, it
leader.
doesn't make me forget that his wife loved October 7th attack on Israel, and that he pals around with terrorists.
No, come on. Have you had him on the show?
We ask people like that, Ro. They never come.
I'll talk to him. I think he
would
should
love
come.
that. I think he should too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should come. You have a
I do
conversation.
too.
You have
I
a
would love to
conversation.
talk to him.
He's a smart guy, and I think you would find.
I'm not saying he's not a smart guy. He went to the White House.
Yeah.
I mean,
he took.
I know.
like a fiddle.
He went there, but he can't come here.
Yeah. He should come here.
He should come here. Oh, so should AOC? So should all of the Democrats.
No, they should come. You don't bite. You're fine.
I voted for them, not him. But I mean,
he needs Trump's money though, and he doesn't need your money here, unfortunately.
And what is crazy is that Zohran Mamdani openly embraces policies that many critics describe as socialist or even communist in nature. Yet it is not clear how those ideas would actually help the people he claims to represent. Because when you look at where a lot of the wealth and political influence is concentrated, many of the richest donors and supporters are already connected to the Democratic Party.
10% pay 72% of all federal income taxes, and the bottom half, 3%. The Democratic Socialists talk about socialism like we don't already have a lot. Social Security, unemployment, Medicare, nutritional assistance, Medicaid, Obamacare, disability, housing subsidies. Again, not against it, just the same question. How can you be soaking the rich and failing the poor so badly? But here's the truth. You're not going to get health care to these people by threatening to tax and eat the rich. You raise billionaires' taxes, they just leave the state. Or they leave the country. Or in some cases, the planet. I kid Elon, but you know, he had a good idea recently that might be apropos here. During the recent government shutdown, he volunteered to pay all the TSA workers himself, you know, with couch money. That's how super rich our super rich are. They can single-handedly fund entire government programs. Okay, so let's make that a thing. The Adopt a Cause Challenge for billionaires. Teachers who buy school supplies with their own money, or people without homes, or disaster victims, whatever it is, make the rich competitive about solving it, because that's all they care about anyway, beating each other.
And right now, many billionaires are leaving New York City because of what they see as one of the mayor's worst decisions. The plan is to raise taxes on the wealthy in an effort to convince others to stop leaving the city. Here, watch it for yourself.
Amidst being in the wealthiest city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, we already see an exodus of working and middle-class New Yorkers. So I don't have a hesitation in asking those who make the most amount of money in the city or the most profits in the city to pay a little bit more so that everyone can actually stay in this city. It's also something not just about justice or the ability for working class people to live here. It is also actually about ensuring that corporations can continue to attract the top talent to this city. Because in a city where childcare costs more than $20,000 a year, I've heard from corporate leaders about how difficult it is for them to attract individuals who would work at their companies but want to raise a family, because you could be making $300,000 a year and you will feel that $20,000 a year because of the fact that we have allowed for the absence of affordable childcare to become reality here in this city.
At the same time, many on the left are furious about people like Elon Musk becoming even wealthier. Yet they often ignore how dependent their own states are on successful businesses and high-income taxpayers. And it's not just that. Sanders has actually said that it's ridiculous to give $250 million to elect President Donald Trump.
How terrible Bernie Sanders is,
Right.
and you can buy that election, right? That's your constitutional right. I think that's probably the worst decision that the Supreme Court has ever made. So what is the result of that decision? The result of that decision, let's take us to where we are today, is that Elon Musk, and I know Elon was on your show, and he's here in Austin, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And we could talk about Elon, but he spent $270 million to elect Trump as president. Okay. I think that's absurd that any one person.
What's the most someone donated towards the Harris campaign?
They spent a lot of money on Harris as
They
well.
spent $1.5 billion just
Combined.
over the course of a couple of months.
You got it. All right, let me talk about it. So
Yeah,
I'm not here
let's
just
talk
to say
about
it's
that.
a Republican. That's my point here.
Right.
Okay. So Musk spends that money, and what's his reward? He becomes the most powerful person in government for 3 or 4 months. Okay, fine.
Context. These people own 13 homes and have a net worth of $61 million. Yet they're discussing this live on television as if we don't know what's going on. And with all that in mind, what they're actually doing is making your life harder. And it's only getting harder day by day.
It's either defund the police or military in the streets. Either MAGA's crypto crony capitalism or city-run grocery stores. No, I don't want that. I want a Democrat who reassures me if you like your Whole Foods, you can keep your Whole Foods. Governor-elect Spanberger once said about Biden's presidency that, quote, nobody elected him to be FDR. They elected him to be normal. Normal. You know, at this year's DSA convention, or as it's commonly known, Comic-Con, get this, you had to submit a photo of a negative COVID test to get in 2025. Yeah, no one wants to do that shit again. We've had enough of Trump's macho bullshit and also enough of pussy politics. Yeah. Guy couldn't help himself. Yeah. These Democratic socialists at another of their conventions, they were told to make jazz hands instead of clapping, lest some delegates suffer sensory overload.
And what's crazy is that before all of this happened, Bill Maher warned that Zohran Mamdani would tear everything apart. He said this was exactly the direction things were heading. And now many people believe those warnings are becoming a reality.
And finally, New World Democrats must recognize that Zohran Mamdani is the future of the party. Unfortunately, it's the Republican Party. Get it? And if you missed his victory speech in last week's mayoral election in New York, don't worry. You'll see it in every attack ad for the next 2 years. Now, Mamdani seems like a nice guy, and I congratulate him on an extraordinary political achievement. But before the whole left side of the country catches socialism fever, let's listen to the other big winner in last Tuesday's election, Virginia Governor-elect Abigail Spanberger, who, before the 24 election, said things like, if the party didn't shift to the center, we will get fucking torn apart. And we need to never use the word socialist or socialism ever again. Well, she was right, but they didn't listen. Typical, am I right, ladies?
To make things worse, they are now turning their backs on America, while some Brits come here and want to become American after only staying a few weeks. With public sentiment declining, some are even saying they feel embarrassed to be American.
Seriously, this is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed? Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual, because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is. Although don't get Tucker Carlson started on Russia. Globalize the intifada is the catchphrase that's really catching on these days, as if worldwide suicide bombing and cosplaying Islamic revolutionaries is the answer to our problems. At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, this is not a symbol of freedom. This is. If the thought leaders in the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is cringe and the people who run Gaza are great, the Democrats are doomed. Alyssa Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party. Last election, it was all the gender stuff, the insistence that men can have babies and such, and now I fear that we like the terrorists is the new that. Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the parties with the young and the young are with the terrorists. That's not good. So talk to your children and remind them, you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas. All the shit you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America, that's all American stuff. You tell your phone you want a milkshake and a guy brings it to your house. Please, you couldn't survive a week living in Intifadaville.
And instead of actually leading, what some Democrats are doing looks like they're digging a 10-meter hole, convinced they're burying Trump for good, only to end up trapping themselves deeper in it. In the end, it might even backfire and hand Trump the very momentum they were trying to take away.
So I think the Democrats will do very well in the midterms. 2028 is a different story because by then, this wing of the party, this new wing with all the energy, and it's not just a few people anymore. Every day I read about a new person in some Colorado and Wisconsin, somebody who is saying some variation of not defund the police, abolish the police. No prisons, no police. Like, what world do they think we could possibly live in under these conditions? It's just a level of nutty that I'm so glad that whenever it was, I was like, no, I'm not going along because this is where it ends.
And with all these going on, we will not going to see a healthy anything in our state or country. And every new Democrat being nominated has their own problem and agenda of destroying what has been there. And right now, being anti-American and anti-Israel is the new way to become one of them.
You know, these DSA people are deeply anti-Israel, and they're deeply anti-America as well, too. And now look at the kinds of people that they've said. Look at the things that they've been forced to delete, what they've said online. And that's not ancient history thing. These are recent things that they've said and that they've done. And it's indefensible. And I don't know why other Democrats, we just can't collectively say they are not Democrats. They can run if they want, but not as a Democrat. You know, these are extremists, and usually they're incredibly anti-American and are willing to even wipe their mouths with the American flag.
Yeah, of course, you're referring to Chevalier there in her since-deleted tweet. I want our viewers, and many of them know this individual, but this is El Said. He could be the nominee for Senate in Michigan. Here are some of his thoughts on Medicaid. Listen to this.
We have a multi-class healthcare system. And too often in urban communities, because of structural racism, because of the circumstances of segregation, you end up having situations where you may have health insurance through Medicaid, but you don't have health care because you can't get your Medicaid accepted where you need to get care.
Now, this is the new socialist in place of Graham Plattner that they're rallying behind. What do you think of him?
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. You know, Bernie is there campaigning for this guy. You know, humble yourself, Bernie. You know, you just push an accused rapist and imploded up in Maine, and now you're pushing, you know, essentially a pro-Hamas candidate that's been anti-American and deeply anti-Israel. You know, he's a socialist that earned $700,000 last year. His wife, in private practice, she refuses to accept Medicaid for that. I mean, you know, he's a phony, and he has said incredibly anti-American thing.
And it's not just that. Many people believe the party has embraced this as the new definition of what it means to be a true Democrat. And Bill Maher pointed this out live on TV as he responded to comments by Zohran Mamdani about Israel.
Jew hatred isn't just acceptable now, it's cool. Celebrities love it and make it trendy. It's the new Che Guevara t-shirt. The Islamophobia is just as bad argument is simply a false equivalency. Can you name a Jewish professor who talks about Muslims the way they get talked about? No. Anti-Jewish crimes, hate crimes, now outpace anti-Muslim hate crimes 9-1. It's not a contest, and I'm certainly not saying do more of the other. I'm just saying these are the numbers, the facts, the reality. There is a frothing anxiousness for the literal extermination of this one group. And Democrats, where are you? If any other minority group was being talked about this way, you'd break out the kente cloth and have 10 benefit concerts. But because you see that so many of your brainwashed by TikTok constituents now have an unfavorable view of Israel, You indulge them when you should be correcting them. You don't tell your woke idiots Israel isn't a colonizer or an apartheid state or committing genocide, and that if you brats had to spend a week anywhere in the Middle East other than Israel, you would understand what liberalism is not. All the people likely running for president now on the Democratic side want it known they don't take money from AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, a stance which gives permission to actual anti-Semites to say, see, we're right about Israel. That's a dirty money from a dirty country. Oh, please. You take money from crypto and factory farmers and big tech, from Diddy and Weinstein and Epstein, but AIPAC is too far? Let me just say this to all who ask me, why are you harder on the Democrats than you used to be? Until you fix this whole issue, stop asking me.
And trust me, this leadership doesn't understand what true leadership actually looks like. All they want to do is say whatever they think people will either love or hate, hoping it'll be enough to elevate them to a higher position. That's not leadership, that's politics.
I think to boil this down to just insurgent versus establishment overlooks what many of these people are running on. They're simply beyond insurgency here. I mean, you've got people out there winning primaries that want to abolish borders, abolish ICE, abolish prisons, abolish the police, abolish the United States Senate. This is well outside the bounds of normal political discourse, and it's all happening, in the Democratic Party. I don't think the Democratic Party leadership understands they've already been overwhelmed, and it's just a matter of time before these views become the mainstream platform, and that's what they're going to end up running on in 2028 as well.
Okay, that was far-left Congresswoman Ilhan Omar claiming the Justice Department and Congress probing her sudden skyrocketing wealth to $30 million in just 1 year, that they have a problem with her living the American dream. You heard her say the goddamn United States of America. We've got new questions on where she and her husband got all that money.